Hello, Guardians. Welcome to a special episode. My name's Danfinity, and welcome to Destiny Digest. Welcome back, Guardians. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you're listening to this, I have just gotten home from GCX. Thanks to everybody that I met there. It was an incredible time. It was a lot of fun. It felt a lot like summer camp for content creators, and I was here for it. No con crud yet that I know of. I'm going to test later on tonight for COVID. My ear is doing this weird thing thanks to the constant pressure changes from flights and everything. But right now, that's the worst of it. Because I was at GCX, last week's episode didn't cover the state of the game. So for this week, I have a special in the field edition where I have all the players, Skarrow and EpicDan, sit down with me to talk about the state of the game that released last Thursday. It didn't have a really good reception from the overall audience, at least from what we were seeing when we were on the show floor. There are some things in here that I disagree with. The Gambit sunsetting and the ritual playlists being one of those things. I would like to see more maps being added to the mode. Of course, would love to see more armor sets added into the game for those ritual playlists, as well as the changes to PvP. The modes sound cool. The changes to PvP, with them not getting as many maps, and there's a lot of things you can be upset about right now when it comes to Destiny. I really think that they ripped the Band-Aid off before the hype train kicks off here on the 22nd, which I'll be live with a bunch of community and podcast favorites on that day. More details to come soon. But right now, it just seems like there's a lot of shrewd business decisions being made. Personally, I'm getting some Age of Triumph vibes. I know the final shape is just around the corner, and that will be a fully contained story in and of itself, and then we will probably get a year of seasons after that, setting up whatever comes next. I would not be surprised if Destiny 2 sometime in the near future enters end of life cycle and we get a Rise of Iron style going away party for it in the next couple years. That's all pure conjecture, but I'm hoping that ideally it's just another number on the box instead of cutting off half of the population from your game. I don't know what the future holds. I guess we'll see that in a couple weeks. But I'm hopeful that there's some explanation outside of just purely business. That said, we're going to go ahead and get into this conversation with all the players, EpicDan and Skarrow9. We did this in a hallway just outside of the event floor at the Rose and Shingle Hotel, so you're going to hear some background noise a little bit. I used some lav mics, and we passed them around, so audio may be a little dubious. This is kind of an experiment episode, but I hope you enjoy it all the same. With all that said, enjoy this interview. I guess we just rip into it. Hey, this is Dan. We're outside of GCX on day 2. I have with me ATP, Skarrow, and EpicDan, and we're going to be talking about the state of the game that released on Thursday. Why don't we have you guys go around first, introduce yourselves, what you guys do in the community, and where they can find you on the internet.
Hi, my name is ATP. I do a lot of PvE challenges, solo stuff in Destiny 2. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Everything will be either as ATP or AllThePlayers.
Hello, my name is EpicDan. I do a lot of either PvE helps and the occasional low mans and raid challenges. Pretty much everywhere. You can find me at EpicDan22 on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube.
Hey, this is Skarrow. I play the game too much. Pretty much anything end game. Low man challenges. I'm Max Triumph scorer, and recently I've been trying to lean more into the puzzle solving side of Destiny as secrets become more and more prevalent. Yeah. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. You can find me Skarrow9 on YouTube and on Twitter. There you go.
So, like, with where we are in the game right now, we're at coming to the end of season 21. We're going to be going into season 22 here soon.
we got the state of the game. Where are you guys at personally in your playtime and in what you're finding to do? Like what are you doing with your content right now that's fulfilling to you?
Well, Remnant's been really cool. No, I just recently wrapped up all the triumphs and stuff, and the ATP's been trying to get me to consider going into solo flawless Room Nightmare, and so there's a lot of, there's solo challenges I got to go back and do and stuff like that. So just spending time and honestly, like, just trying to be more creative with content to fill that. For if there's not going to be a lot of content to directly go and pave the path for like interesting streams and stuff, you gotta kind of turn the creativity on a little bit. So that's been kind of my stuff recently, just killing time until the next season, I guess. So
Yeah, I do. Because a lot of my content in like the second half of the season is solo GM stuff, and I've been taking a lot out of Leopard's playbook and just absolutely stalling, and taking my sweet time to do everything. So like I still have not beaten the Fallen Saber GM this season. I go in and I just die over and over again, and I just do that for 4 hours straight at this point. But I've been starting recently to get back because I do all the triumphs eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm not like Skarrow. New season launches and I need to kill 150 Ruffians that same day.
Yeah.
I don't do that, but like I've been starting to get back into doing that. But yeah, I've mainly just been stalling a lot of my content recently, just because I'm struggling to find new things to do if I beat something. Like, okay, what next? And so I've been taking my time.
Did you do solo Whetstone?
Not yet.
You plan on it?
I'm planning on doing it on a Hunter, but the only videos I've seen are a Titan, and so that's gonna be a tough one.
With like Forerunner, right?
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. People always come up with the weirdest stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting because since a lot of my content is just like PvE helps, the only challenge left for me is the solo Whetstone and solo flaws Root of Nightmares, which was like on my docket of doing this season, which is like what I planned on doing, but all summer, which is weird because of the state of the game and because of where we are currently as a community, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not. There's a lot of people that have chosen to return to the game this summer.
Yeah.
Like a butt ton.
That felt like the same way with Haunted too. Like just the summer expansions take a hit.
So like I expected me to have not too much to do, and I was going to do that this summer, but I've been really busy just reintroducing players every day to the game.
Yeah.
So it's weird because I agree with both of them. It's kind of hard to find stuff to do. But I guess because of the way my content is, I've kind of put some of my solo challenges on the back burner just because I've spent so much time either reintroducing people to content. Like I just spent the last week teaching people Master Vault the Glass for the first time.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I've done it hundreds of times, but like, a lot of people need it. So,
Hi guys. Hello.
For those who may or may not, or I guess who are listening, if you're not listening, you wouldn't have heard that. But we're just at a random table at GCX. So who knows how much of this background noise is being picked up? If you hear us laughing, it's because someone's making faces at us. But it's a good time. So
Okay. So I'd say everybody at this table, literally a table. This is the first time I've ever done this. So everybody at this table is like a fairly atypical player. You guys are finding like you're kind of making your own challenges a lot of the time, or helping people out.
That's making your own challenges.
Yeah, that 100%.
I've been on LFG. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, like, that's understandable that like from that perspective that like there's a lot of dryness. What are you guys seeing with like new players coming in? Do you feel like there's not a lot for them to do, or do you feel like they're confused?
Yeah, that's such a hard question for me to answer because none of my content is really structured around new players, and I think ATP is going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our circles are very like the 1% of the 1%. And
So even chat, like you don't have people coming in being like, "Hey, I'm new to the game." Like, what do I
a
need to
lot
do?
of returning players, but for me personally, not a lot of brand new people. Or if they are brand new, they're lurking because they have no idea what the hell is going on.
I've had a few people who are new players come in, and I will tell them to go check someone else out. But like
You're not supposed to be doing this.
I'm not supposed to be doing that. But like the issue is like the new player experience. I haven't experienced it, but I know some people have created like new accounts to experience it, and the only thing I've heard is that it's just really confusing and
It's terrible.
Really very frustrating for new players
It's
to
like
try
a
to.
mobile game. It's how it feels on initial. Lots of things flashing.
Yeah, so I haven't experienced it myself, and I feel like I should at some point, but I haven't had time to go make a new account just to run through stuff. But then part of me is also like, I know what I'm doing to begin with, that I'm still going to be like kind of knowing what I'm doing, even on a fresh account. But so
one day I'll get Victoria to start a new character. She's not a gamer, so it'll just be like But someone posted like a what happens when you start a new character and you first go to orbit, and it's just like banner.
It's after the 5-minute cutscene.
Yeah,
it is all of those banners.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this event's now available. You can now buy this in Everest. This now available. This raid's up this week. And for a new player, it's like none of this makes. There's no dictionary. There's no legend or.
Like I think for that they just need to add a tab that just says updates, and if you care about that stuff, you can go there to look. But like I was in Seattle 2 weeks ago, gone from Tuesday to Tuesday, 1 week, got on 5 banners. Next week in Destiny for a week that I had already missed, but it's telling me like what I had missed. I'm like, where's why do I care? New Eververse set.
Bungie rewards, limited time offer.
So like, we just got a state of the game. We just got. It was kind of like sobering. A lot of the community reacted negatively to the state of the game because there were a lot of like a lot of changes that they're making. It felt like they were kind of ripping off the Band-Aid before the hype machine moves forward on like August 22nd. What do you guys first enjoy about the state of the game, and what changes were you critical of?
I'm trying to hold out personally on too much until I see the show. Yeah. Because at least the copium in me is saying maybe they want to get all the bad out first. Yeah. And then hopefully the show can give you a lot of the good. That being said,
it's so weird how much of the state of the game was like just wait for the reveal. It's like, why do this at all? What is this?
It's kind of like a trailer.
Yeah, but you know, like a lot of trailers nowadays will do like a trailer starting to be like a flashy clip, and they'll be like, the trailer for Blue Beetle starts now. It's like, hey, that's useless, and now Bungie's doing it. Let's stop that. You know. So sorry, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good because I agree. Like I read it. If you're listening, you can't see this. I read it while eating tacos down there, and the entire time I was just like, why? You know?
Like, you're ruining my tacos, man.
It took me like 45 minutes to read the entire thing, and I was like, outside of maybe the paradigm system or whatever, a lot of this just could have been an email. You know, at least it felt like it just could have been an email. So we'll see with the show. You know, that's all I got really. So.
I think the best thing listed in the state of the game, at least for me personally, is if you know me, my character wears a Leviathan shader. Mm-hmm. And I am not happy having to go through 25 pages to find this shader. But now I can favorite shaders. Yeah. But when the fact that I can favorite a shader is the best thing for me that I read in a state of the game, I think there's an issue.
Yeah. Something that we've asked for a long time.
Yeah.
Is this a way to sort or like get our favorites? So
well, when did they remove consumable shaders? That was like 2 years ago, right?
With the Witch Queen?
Like,
No, it was
before
way
that?
before that.
Beyond
Beyond Light then?
It was a while. I want to say Beyond Light sounds right.
Yeah, Beyond Light or Shadowkeep.
so it took 3 or 4 years to add that,
Yeah.
which I'm not a game dev, but I feel like it shouldn't take 4 years to add that feature.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I got nothing. They had to take someone from the PvE team. I'm not allowed to say that. Edit that out if I'm not allowed to say that.
I feel like that. So we're seeing a lot of quality of life changes, like specifically to the shader system. We're also seeing changes with stasis aspects and fragments being moved to the vendor, like the ship's transmets being pursuit improvements.
Who cares about transmit effects? I don't think I've ever applied one in my life.
Just the Zol one. That one's cool.
Yeah, I think I apply them occasionally to my ship, but I haven't changed my ship in like
I was gonna say
years.
the bigger thing is people don't change their ships often.
Yeah, I've
So
had
you
these
get one
same
ship and
3
the same
ships.
transmit. Yeah.
I use the Dawning ship from 2017. I use a festival ship, and I use some other vanilla ship.
Yeah.
I have not changed my ship in 6 years.
I think that's the bigger thing is like we have a whole ship system and no reason to change them most of the time.
Yeah,
So like transmats don't affect me at all.
yeah. I do not care.
Yeah, I
what
don't care.
happens in that 0.2 seconds when I spawn in.
Mhm.
I don't care.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so those were just the light things that came in. We also got we're getting changes to the core ritual system completely, and moving from we're once again not getting a level up for season 22.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good change. How do you guys feel about it's kind of like a soft sunsetting of Gambit and
Heavy sunset. What you mean?
So, clerical question: are we allowed to cuss on this?
I mean, you're able to.
Fuck Gambit. No, it's like I feel bad for the players who main Gambit. That's
The one
weird.
player.
The one, yeah, I feel bad for the player.
I know maybe 2 players.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It is so weird that we have gone from this, the core playlists used to have so much life, and there were times where we were getting strikes every year, at least every couple of seasons. So some of them
and
had
you get
stuff.
like 3 strikes.
Yeah,
you wouldn't get one strike that's a story mission.
Yeah,
You get,
exactly.
like 3 new strikes.
And then in Destiny 1 we got new Crucible maps constantly. When Gambit came out, they added not even a year later we got 2 more Gambit maps, right?
It would have been in March, so half a year
Half
later,
a year later
they
we got
gave
2
us
more.
yeah the Mars and the Titan one.
Yeah, so it's like how what how what is how in the one thing that just baffles me, this is kind of getting off of Gambit, but it kind of relates to the same thing, whereas I can't believe they said this in the state of the game where they were like, oh yeah, they pretty much admitted there's no one working on Crucible maps at all, and if someone's to work on those, they come from the PvE team. How? Why is this a thing? I made a tweet that was like monetization's been more aggressive than ever. Seasons cost more than ever. The Bungie team is twice the size that it used to be, and some of that's matter in Marathon, sure. But how is the Destiny team shrunk? Where are these people going? How have they not been replaced? And these things that bolster the core part of your live service game, the consistent part that people know they can always come back to, why have they just been completely neglected? And that goes back to Gambit. When it came out, was pretty revolutionary. It was very popular, and then it was stagnant, and that has killed it. And it's gotten consistently worse because of a lack of innovation and lack of maps, lack of new interesting twists and modes on it. Same thing with Crucible, I'd say. But it's kind of a travesty that it's just left there on the side of the road. I don't know where all these people went.
So this is something that kind of came up I feel like we were kind of in the same place toward the end of Destiny 1, except for with Destiny 1 we didn't have seasons. We had dumps every once in a while, once every year or every 6 months of new stuff coming in. And it almost, do you guys feel like maybe they are to progress Destiny, they're sunsetting things in order to like update engines, things along those lines.
Then say that.
Yeah.
You know, like that shouldn't be a secret. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, we know you guys don't like Gambit anymore, so we're going to axe it and we're going to devote the people to work on something else. But it's very clearly, hey, if we need people to work on this, it's at the expense of other teams. But I don't know about you guys, but in my head of the existing Crucible maps, Gambit maps, and they specifically use the example of secret exotic missions. Those play spaces are very different. There's a lot. It's an entirely different skill set and mentality, I imagine, that goes into designing something like Whisper 0 Hour, very secretive passageways and very platform heavy, versus something like a Crucible map that has to be balanced at engagements of all different types. And those are, I imagine, two very different types of people that are going to work on those types of things. And the fact that it's the same people and it's at the expense of one or the other is crazy to me. And it's even crazier that they came out and said that. That's like the part that you don't say out loud. and they said it full-throated, full-chested, or with their whole chest, I guess is the expression. It's just like, that's when I wasn't really vibing with it. And when I read that, like, I was at Epcot, actually. I was in line, and my fucking mouth fell open. And my wife's like, are you okay? I was like, I can't believe they just said this. Like, people are not going to like this.
I think specifically for Gambit as well, because we haven't had a new Gambit map in 1,500 days.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
is that the actual number, or did you just come up with that?
Around there.
Okay, fair
It was like 1,300 a few months ago. But the thing is, that I'm thinking is, when you're designing a Gambit map, you don't need to really worry about cross-map engagements or anything.
Yeah.
Because it's just two invasions, basically. And when you're designing a Gambit map, you design one and you just duplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing you need to worry about are enemy spawns and then invader spawns. You don't really need to worry about, will this area be good for an engagement? Will this be that? And that stuff. So, which is why I'm confused how it's taken this long to even get a new Gambit map. And if you don't care about Gambit, why are you even adding Cathedral of Stars back?
Yeah.
Why are you adding
Yeah.
Lucent Hive and Shadow Legion? Just get rid of it at that point.
I don't, like, I feel like, sorry. I feel like they could just take, like, parts of existing patrol zones even and be like, all right, we see them do this in missions all the time, where they'll take, like, existing rooms in the game that we've, seen, like, in a Cabal ship or something.
Deepstone and the Seraph mission.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally that sort of thing, right? Yeah. And they'll just take these existing rooms and they'll build on them, or they'll truncate them. The same thing with, like, the Scourge of the Past in the Fallen Elixir Quarter. So it's like, we know that they do this a lot, and but so, like, why not just take, like, the Trostland, right? Cut off the sides.
Yeah.
Add some different architecture, copy paste back to back, add some spawns, and, like, they don't have to be good. Half the Gambit maps suck, it's so good ones. Yeah, I don't.
And they're the ones in the game.
Yeah. And then the Titan one.
Yeah. So, but, like, I think there's something. Have you guys seen? I say this a lot on the show because I feel like it's kind of like an important document. It came out earlier this year. It's called Psych Odyssey. It was like how Double Fine created, like, Psychonauts, and they talk about they have a period of time during their development phase where they drop everything that they're doing. They take 2 weeks and they have different teams develop new games just to kind of, like, stretch their legs a little bit and get them focused on not maybe the grind of Psychonauts 2. And Gambit kind of feels like one of those games where they were working an engine to, like, create, like, a mode or something that was just going to be, like, a nice attachment for whatever, and it just kind of took off, so they added it in. Like, it doesn't surprise me that they're soft sunsetting it, probably eventually removing it. But I think the good quality change there is to the pinnacle system instead of the mode. Like, they're making it so now you can just get all your pinnacles doing whatever you want to do.
I quite like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's complaining about not having to play PvP to get a pinnacle.
Yeah. More options is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else from, like, the state of the game that you guys enjoyed?
I have something I didn't enjoy.
I was gonna say I have more that I did not enjoy, and
I think
So-
The biggest thing I didn't enjoy is, so Bungie says, a long time ago we shared a plan to players have pointed out that we didn't release a new armor set for ritual playlists because they were going to release like an annual armor set, and then they say it's because delivering ritual armor sets at this rate has been increasingly challenging. So why is it that you can release 12 new Eververse sets every season, but you can't design a new trial set once a year? And like,
why is that?
why is it because no one's gonna buy it? Like,
and why when you make the free armor sets, do you have them suck? You know,
well, that's the biggest thing because you always. I remember like a year ago, maybe with Witch Queen, someone put up like the Void armor set,
Gigs
and then put the Vanguard Crucible one. They were like, "Why does this one look leagues better than that one?"
They even say in the state of the game, especially considering these sets have historically had very low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetics. It's because it sucks.
They suck. Yeah.
It looks like blue armor.
Yeah.
But the Eververse armor always looks great.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna charge me money to get it.
It's kind of like, can you imagine if after Duality, they were like, no one uses dungeon armor because, I mean, I don't know. I know some people like it, but I think most people, and I share this opinion, it's just kind of like blue armor. Like there's nothing too crazy about it. It's very classic, like Space Marine armor, right? Very angular. And so it's like, can you imagine if after Duality, they're like, no one uses dungeon armor, we're not making it again. Instead of what they actually did, which is with Spire of the Watcher and Ghost of the Deep, making two of the most thematically unique, intricate armor sets that they've ever made. That's the mentality that they need to be approaching this with, in my opinion, instead of like, oh, less armor in the game. Yeah, have fun with these core ritual playlists that we're also sunsetting one of, not updating the other, and the third one's just going to be seasonal content for the rest of the time, right? So it's like, I think they're trying to move away from that as the core of the game, but they set that up as the core of the game. So I think they're taking away, I mean, just even the term, the core activities.
What is the core?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, just using that verbiage or that terminology, that instills like a very certain expectation for these playlists that has been not only not met, but completely like disregarded, I feel like. So that's just, I don't know.
Actually, one thing I do like, and this is going to be a very controversial take, because everyone, do you hate Battlegrounds?
No, I think they're fun.
Originally, I did. Like, I had a whole meme in my chat that every time I would load into a Battlegrounds, I would instantly leave. My chat's going to hate me for this. And they're going to be like, I told you. But ever since they've become Grandmasters, I've actually really enjoyed them.
I am the exact
And I used
same.
to hate them.
And I posted this on Twitter when the Psyops Moon Battleground came out.
Mhm.
I would love a season where it's just 6 Grandmaster
I kind of want
Battlegrounds.
that now. Yeah.
And I don't know if part of it's because they're just more challenging and I like the challenging content, or because I just don't want to have to do Glassway for the 19th
I think that
time.
they're just unique.
Like, and
Yeah,
that's
they're
what
just
I
unique.
like. And
Yeah.
I do think some of them could be tuned down a little. Like I think the Mars one needed to be tuned down a little, but
Mhm.
I think the Psyops Moon one is like a perfect difficulty
I like Psyops. Yeah.
point.
I think both of the Battlegrounds have had the one similar issue where one of the areas has like infinite ad spawns.
Yeah.
And so if you limit those to waves instead of infinite ad spawns, I think it alleviates most of the problems people have. And then the FPS issue with like Savathun, like, but that's a game wide issue.
Yeah, yeah,
where,
yeah.
But she can one hit you if you have like more than 10 frames. So
Herky jerky mode.
Yeah.
Activate.
I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary. So I have told Bungie developers I've talked to this, that they need to be more careful, in my opinion, on using and setting terms. So we saw this happen with raid layers, where people just think the raid layers are inferior no matter what. And so the same things happen with Battlegrounds, just because people don't like some of the Battlegrounds. Even like each batch of Battlegrounds that we've gotten are pretty substantially different from each other. Half of them are escort, half of them are running far distances, half of them are 2 rooms, but you defend them. And it's like, every time they release a batch, they're all similar to each other, but between seasons, they're not necessarily the same type. I mean, they're similar, but they're as similar to each other as they are to regular strikes, in my opinion. And so I feel like there's an unnecessary like hatred just towards the term Battlegrounds. And I wish they'd be a little bit more careful with like making these umbrellas. There's no need to over-define what an activity is. Just call it a Vanguard Ops something, you know?
I'm going to go back on it because you mentioned raid layers. I think that's the worst thing they've ever said. Because in their reveal, they said a raid layer is a raid in the same location as a previous raid. But every single person takes it as a raid with 3 encounters or less.
I mean,
or like
no one counts Crown as a raid layer, but Bungie themselves in the reveal for Crown called it there's like
a raid layer because it's on the
It's on
Leviathan.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
So.
And so many people are like, well, it's a raid layer. It's not an actual raid. It is a raid. It's just on the same location as a different raid. That's why it's called a layer. And
So that sounds like a problem of definition, like you said. And so like,
I'll say it after.
yeah, I was gonna. So like the battlegrounds, I playing them over the past couple seasons. I really like them a lot, and I really like your idea of doing like 6 of them in a row. And I think that's because they breathe like a fresh breath in after running the same strikes in. I think that sentiment was already like spoken here.
There was that 2 seasons where we basically had the same 6 strikes for GMs.
That were like 6 months apart.
Yeah. Well, no, there was 3 seasons in a row where we had almost the same GMs, except 2 of them were changed. They were like the Fallen Saber was swapped out for Devil's Lair, basically, or Inverted Spire.
Yeah. The battlegrounds bring like a novelty.
It's nice
to the mode that was desperately needed.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the time that I was like, I want to let you go. So I kind of want to get your feedback on like, so they did say that they are making like some security improvements and stability improvements. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Show us.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah,
Prove it.
How come I don't play PvP, but how come if I play PvP, Jimmy is just flying around with his infinite Xeno?
Yeah.
Where's the battle eye coming in?
I think the Ring 1 lawsuit will.
Yeah. That is one thing. I'm glad that they are going so hard with these lawsuits, and hopefully that sets precedent. But I think the reality is you can sue the cheat makers all you want; they're going to keep popping up.
Yeah.
If there's no real consequence for being a player to use cheats, it's not really going to deter anything. But you can't I don't think there's any legal precedent for suing. I almost said day job Timothy, but I don't want to say that. Just some random guy for using cheats because they'll just make a new account. Everyone's like, oh, IP bans. There are very well established ways around IP bans. They're not, they're not the end all be all of bans. And so I very much sympathize with Bungie, and the problem definitely goes in waves. It's gotten a lot better, but it's starting to get worse again. And it's just one of those things like they're quiet about it. And so when these lawsuits come out, it's like cool, but like do something, and it's so easy to backseat it, what I mean? But
well, like I don't like how, because they've said they're paying Battle Eye it's like 7 digits, right?
Their entire team spends over 7 digits a year, so I'm sure that includes the salaries for the people developing new research and the Battle Eye commercial license, which is complete. I can't believe they said 7 figures, so that's between $1 million and $9,999,000. That doesn't surprise me at all.
But because Battle Eye, there used to be a huge problem way back in the day with net limiter.
Yeah.
Which Battle Eye now catches. They just gotta step it up.
Yeah.
And like you shouldn't need to be suing the cheat companies every single time that a new cheat comes out. Battle Eye should detect it somehow.
Yeah.
But like I don't know how security really works. Yeah. You know how to do that.
I know from that lawsuit, they're charging them with RICO, which is like, that's mafia shit.
Yeah.
So
I really like the one thing. If you read the verbiage of sorry, I keep giving this to you, and then I'll take it right. I want to talk. No. But the one thing, like the opening line of that lawsuit was like the days where cheat developers can feel like they can, make our game worse without consequences over. I was like, oh my god, dude, they're going. They're gunning. But like, show us, and then take that money and develop some Crucible. Hire people that make Crucible maps and secret missions.
So, like, the final couple things that I want to talk about here. So we're getting a couple new modes coming with Checkmate and Relic. What are your guys' thoughts on those?
I don't play PvP.
I'm taking the mic from you enough.
I occasionally play PvP. If you watch the little G1 tournament, you'll see how little bit I do play, but they had me up there. It sounds cool, but I don't think it's going to get me into PvP more than it does now. So, like, if it's good for at least, I hate to say at least because that's giving them the bare minimum, but at least they're doing something for PvP for a change. I don't think it's going to be nearly enough, but who knows?
Yep.
I doubtful, but who knows?
I've always I like the modes like Mayhem and Momentum Control because it's less skill and I suck at PvP. So I think Relic.
Well, it could be.
I think I'll quite enjoy Relic, but then Checkmate, which is like where I'm actually needing to use a gun. I don't think I'm going to enjoy that nearly as much. But like I think bashing, like you spawn in just bashing people with like the Aegis.
I hope it's cool.
I think that sounds really fun.
Yeah. Like we really need. I've said for a while. As much as they historically have done really good because they're Bungie.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my time in the old Halo games was spent not playing ranked, not playing social. It was playing action sack. It was playing all of the like unique stuff.
Yeah.
That's what
the golf.
Yeah. Oddball, Griffball, Infection. I had thousands of hours just playing that stuff and I didn't have to take it seriously.
I like Team Scorched better than just about anything.
So like Mayhem and Team Scorched, they need more of that. So hopefully Relic is cool.
Yeah, and I like how there's further innovation with Relic because it's not just you spawn with the artifacts. It's you get gun kills and you earn the artifacts as your super or something like that. Yeah, and like that's awesome. Like that twist on it keeps it fresh. And this is clearly like someone's passion project. I think like someone had like a really cool idea. That's the stuff that we need more of. You know, the old Call of Duty games like Black Ops 1 had like gun game. Why is there not an exotic gun game in Destiny where you get a kill and then it upgrades you to a new exotic and the first person to get 20 exotics wins? Why is there no sticks and stones? This is kind of closer to that. And, you know, we already have momentum control, which is kind of like hardcore and that sort of stuff. So, like, I feel like they're starting to fill in, but it's just taking so long, you know? And I think that comes from lack of teams on these things, probably. But I don't know.
It's because the raid team's working on PvP, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, do you think that's it? That's why the Relic game mode, the raid team's like, we already know how to program these relics, dude. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm glad there's something. Mm-hmm. At least Crucible is not Gambit, you know. But it's, I don't know. I think it's going to come down to the community's perception of how much love the mode's getting, not necessarily how much mode. Like, you know, in reality, adding new maps, how much does it actually help? Maybe not the most, but it at least makes us feel like they're dedicated to the mode and they're working on it. And I think that's equally as important to the health of the mode as like things that actually impact it in a big way. So
I think at this point, because so many people are like, we need new maps, just give us all the vaulted ones back. Like I know,
why not?
I know they're bringing back, I think, Citadel next season, but like Legion's Gulch, why not just bring it back? Emperor's Respite. I know no one likes that map, but
no, that map was sick.
I liked it. It was the Leviathan one. Yeah,
but like just bring it back, even if it's just for Clash or whatever. Just bring it back. Just give us more variety, like something to breathe life into it. But
well, guys, thank you guys so much for taking time out to like sit down with me here. Everybody's busy, and I appreciate everybody doing that. So why don't we go around? We'll start with Dan, and we'll tell everybody like where they can find you on the internet, and
yeah. Well, you can find me pretty much everywhere if you just look up EpicDan22. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. I think that's it. But yeah, you can find me everywhere.
Skarrow9 on YouTube and on Twitter. Close to 100,000 subs. Really close. Hell yeah. And I've enjoyed GCX so much. You'll find me at GCX probably for every year for the next foreseeable future because it's been that's honestly it, right? It's been crazy fun. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm still not subbed to Skarrow because I'm waiting to be his 100,000th subscriber.
Let me go ahead and push him closer.
What is this? Dan, are you subbed?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. One out of three's not bad, baby.
But no, you can find me Twitch, all_the_players, Twitter, exact same thing, YouTube as well. But most people just call me ATP, just first letter of each one. And thank you for having me on, Dan.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
And hopefully the audio turned out all right.
We're going to see.
My name's Danfinity. You can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram and the TikTok at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. You can also find me on Twitch 4 days a week, helping Guardians with endgame activities in Destiny 2. If you'd like to support the show, remember to rate and review on your podcast platform of choice. Anything you say helps us in the algorithm. And if you'd like to give a couple bucks a month to help keep the lights on, head on over to coffee.com/Danfinity. That is ko-fi.com/Danfinity. All the links are in the notes for the show. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you find what you're grinding for.